Shalom, family. How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, you know what the topic is. Y'all know what time it is. Boy, I tell you one thing, y'all. When they tell us lies about something, do you know how swiftly the lies are coming out? They getting caught up in their own lies. Now, if you remember, for the last few weeks, they kept saying one shot was going to take care of all of the variants that came out. Remember, they were saying that over and over and over. You don't have nothing to worry about, all the shots. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they are talking about upgrading the shots already. Look, the first shot came out in December. Remember, the rollout was in December. We are just in the very beginning of February, and they're already talking about upgrading the shots. What happened to this one shot would take care of everything? Boy, it don't take long for the lies to come out. No, not anymore. Not anymore. It is almost like the moment they say something, we're catching them in the lie. It's that quick now. You know, for a long time, these folks were, for a moment, able to outfox us on certain things. They would tell you a lie, you would believe the lie. Sometimes you might believe the lie for years or never even find out the truth. It's not like that anymore. All right. All right, I'm going to get set up on my end. Thank you, Willie Combs, for the super sticker. Thank you. All right, everybody. Let me just do these last few things, and then we will get started for real. But we live in amazing times for real. I'm just so grateful I'm alive to witness the things that are going on. Boy, who would have knew America would be doing worse than every nation on the planet with coronavirus? Who knew it would be that way? You got third world countries that got COVID under better control than the US. And they have never done better than Africa. And Africa is still doing better than every nation on the planet. But according to them, they needed to do all this help for Africa. Yeah, right. You can't even help yourself, apparently. Okay, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. Okay, welcome and shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom, family. Okay. All right, what happened to my screen here? All right. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let me just go ahead and do that. We'll work on the little details later. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. All right, y'all. And just an update, the stimulus did pass, y'all. The Democrats they were able to do it without the Republicans, and Kamala was the tiebreaker. So his $1.9 trillion package did pass, ladies and gentlemen. So they're saying that by the end of the month, you should see that additional $1,400. And those of you that are collecting unemployment, your Unemployment, I believe, is going to go sometime between February and March. Is going to go from an additional 300 per week to an additional 400 per week. So I'm amazed, but they were able to do it. And they said Kamala was the tiebreaker. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Now we can get started. All right. All right, so get to my screen. All right, so this came out in CBS News, ladies and gentlemen. This is February 4th, 2021. And yes, this is not, I thought I was seeing things, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I think the 4,000 is an undercount. I do. As long as, think about this, COVID has been out there since we went on lockdown. Let me just go from the lockdown date, March 2020, right? The whole year, practically, most of 2020, they never talked about any variants coming up until December. Now, think about this. Do you really believe no variants came up until December? I think the variants were showing up long before December, but that was the first time they ever told us about it. And remember, the UK version, they knew that as far back as September of 2020, and they never said nothing until December. So how is it that we went from March lockdown to December, and that was the first time we heard about variants? I don't believe that's even possible. I believe those variants were always there. And maybe they just didn't catch it until December. So the way I see it, it would have to be more than what they're telling us. You never know. This thing can be well over 10,000. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this video from CBS News. And you're going to hear the scientists over in the UK talking about this. But just understand, ladies and gentlemen, these variants are worldwide. They're not just in the UK. They're worldwide. All right.
So, some alarming news coming out of the United Kingdom as the death toll from the pandemic crosses 108.
Hold on one second. I hear that noise. That's actually one of my videos playing. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's try this again. Okay.
Shalom, family. How y'all doing?
All right, get rid of that. All right, let's get started now. We can do it now. Sorry about that, y'all.
Scientists say that the variant first detected. So, some alarming news coming out of the United Kingdom as the death toll from the pandemic crosses 108,000. Scientists say that the variant first detected in the UK is evolving and could possibly be more resistant to vaccines. Experts there are also tracking the changes in the virus's genetic code. CBS News' Roxana Severi is in London. Roxana, what's happening over there? Sort of bring us up to speed.
Anne-Marie, people in this neighborhood are getting tested for the variant first detected in South Africa. And now scientists here are warning that the UK variant may be mutating in a way that mimics it.
So what they're saying is the UK version is now looking more like the South African version, ladies and gentlemen. And you already know the South African version, when they give that vaccine, it has no impact on that version at all. And that's what's happening. So this thing is definitely getting stronger by the day. So let me go ahead and continue.
The good news is this country has become very skilled at hunting for mutations.
England is racing to find and stop the highly infectious South Africa variant of COVID-19 before it's too late. Adding to the urgency, scientists here have discovered that a mutation in that variant has now appeared in the UK variant, raising concern the virus is evolving and could become more resistant to vaccines.
The virus over time is improving itself. It's a matter of natural selection. It's the survival of the fittest issue.
Sharon Peacock leads a nationwide network of scientists tracking those transformations more closely than anywhere else in the world.
We are looking for mutations, and those mutations really give us a barcode for the virus.
Every day at labs like this one, robots and researchers sift through thousands of samples of COVID-19, mapping mutations in the genetic code.
It's the sequence genome in here, and this is individual patient samples.
Last November, they spotted something alarming. 23 mutations, mainly in the spike protein of the virus, allowing it to latch onto cells more tightly, making it much more contagious. That means, for example, if 10 people with old variants of the virus could infect 13 others, now they could infect around 20.
That's really important because more people can get sick and therefore more people are likely to die simply from the burden of disease.
As what's since been dubbed the UK variant has swept across the world, the US and many other nations have tightened travel restrictions. Germany and Austria now mandate medical-grade masks in most public places, and the UK has imposed a third nationwide lockdown.
As COVID-19 mutates, scientists here say the world also needs to do more genetic sequencing like this. They say in these efforts, the U.S. needs to catch up.
The U.S. sequences less than 1% of new samples, compared to around 10% in the UK, meaning many dangerous mutations may be missed.
So these variants could be more widespread than we know.
Very likely. And I think that sequencing is going to be vital in detecting that.
So what she is saying, the UK in their country, they found 4,000. But because the US is not doing a lot of genetic sequencing, we don't know how many thousands of these variants are here because they're not testing heavily for it. And the US is actually behind the rest of the world when it comes down to the coronavirus sequencing to find out how many variants are in the land. So right now, we know it's got to be more than the ones they're talking about. It's probably thousands over here by now. It would have to be. So the US is just doing so poorly with testing. We don't know, but trust me, y'all, it is here. There's no doubt about it. There's no way it's in the UK, but not here. And that would also mean many of these individual countries probably have thousands of variants as well. This would never be in just one location and nowhere else in the world. It's just that, see, the US, we got these ultra sensitive people here, and it will send them in the frenzy if they heard something like that over here. Number two, I think they're afraid to test for these variants. They're afraid of what they may find. And in the back of my mind, I also think maybe that's why some of these people have died. They had some of these deadly variants, ladies and gentlemen, and probably didn't even know it. So look, they have to do special testing to even pick up the UK and South African version. So if you got thousands of variants, you would need thousands of different ways to test these variants to figure out who got what. In the US, this thing is so far more sophisticated than the average scientist is here in America, even in the UK. Look at what they got to go through just to figure out who got what. In America, they're not even doing that. So, yeah, I mean, I think COVID has gotten far more sophisticated, and it knows how to outfox this alleged vaccine that they have. If that weren't the case, we wouldn't see these multiple mutations. And think about this, y'all. We heard about this in 2019. Look at how far this thing has mutated from 2019 all the way up until now. It's mutating in a very short window. So it doesn't need a lot of time. It doesn't need years or months or several weeks to mutate. This thing is mutating by the second. So it is very sophisticated. This is far more sophisticated than your flu or your cold or anything like that. Way more beyond that. So let's go on.
And scientists here also tell us the vaccines will likely need to be redesigned by the end of this year to adapt to new mutations. Anne-Marie?
So, Roxana, England has started house-to-house COVID testing in some communities, people literally going to people's homes. And I guess, how does it work? Are they testing them at the front door? And is it successful? Have they been able to find cases that otherwise probably would have gone unnoticed?
Yeah, they are testing door to door. They're knocking on people's doors and testing them at home. They're also testing people at mobile units like this. Now, this is happening in 8 areas across England right now. About 100 cases of the South Africa variant have been found across England, and that's specifically what scientists are looking for.
Now, when you watch the UK, because I went in last night to look at several videos of how they test, the UK, ladies and gentlemen, just swab the inside of the cheek, okay, in your mouth. The US still got that shit where they jam it up your nose. Okay, so that's the difference. They do a different kind of testing. Africa does that too. But here in the US, they want to put that, oh man, they want to put that mess way up your nose. I don't think that's a good thing. If you can swab the inside of somebody's cheek, that's the way it should be done here. And that's another reason why most people don't want to go get that test. They don't like the testing that the US has decided to do. So, you heard what she said. They already got to upgrade the vaccine. But at this rate, how are the vaccines going to keep up with these mutations? They won't. That is impossible. If this thing is mutating this far along, where there's thousands of mutations, how there's no way you're going to design anything that's going to stop it. And you see the lie already. Oh no, one vaccine will take care of any mutation. You see what a lie that is? They're already saying they got to go back to the lab and start upgrading what they got out here, and they haven't even given all of those vaccines out. So with this thing evolving so far along, the vaccine they got out would have to be obsolete. It would have to be. So let's go on.
Now, what's so worrying about that variant is that it's been found to be more infectious, and also there is concern that it could be more resistant to COVID-19 vaccines. Now, we spoke to scientists who specifically looked at the effect on the Pfizer vaccine, and they told us that they found that it became slightly less, that the vaccine was slightly less effective in preventing infections when it came to the South Africa variant. They said, though, that more research needs to be done, more studies need to be done, and we also need to keep an eye out for those new mutations. And that's where they say the sequencing of the COVID-19 genome becomes so crucial. Anne-Marie?
So true. So how efficient is the UK's coronavirus mapping and sequencing efforts? And can we learn from that here in the US?
Yeah, well, the U.S. is ramping up its genomic sequencing, but it still lags far behind. The Biden administration has asked the government for more funding for the U.S. program. Here in England, it's very organized. There's a nationwide program, and it's also largely government funded. What happens is that hospitals, labs, and scientists across the country work together. They gather samples of COVID-19, and then I'm going to simplify this process for you. But basically, robots go through those samples and pick out the positive ones, and then the DNA is basically digitized so that scientists can sequence that DNA on computers and then analyze it and look for new mutations. The UK has so far sequenced hundreds of thousands of genomes of COVID-19. Now, this is about half of all the genomes that have been sequenced in the world. And then what they do is they share their data with other countries. Anne-Marie?
Wow, that is truly fascinating. Roxana, thank you so much.
All right, y'all. I mean, that is deep. That is deep. So we're going to go over to, let's see here. Yeah, Reuters. So Reuters, according to what they're saying on this particular article about all of the mutations, they're saying that many of these mutations can literally be dangerous. So You heard about them talking about giving mixed vaccines, ladies and gentlemen, over the last few weeks. Like somebody may get a Pfizer shot as their first one, and they can get a Moderna as their second shot, or AstraZeneca shot. Okay, mixing. This is being done out of desperation. Okay. So just like here in the US, they were talking about mixing vaccines, they were doing the same thing over in the UK. They're trying to look and see if there's some benefit in mixing these different vaccines from different pharmaceutical companies. So the British researchers are exploring mixing doses of the Pfizer and AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines in a world first trial aimed at finding new ways to swiftly reduce coronavirus infections as the new mutated variants emerge. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, these variants are winning. You know, they are winning right now. While thousands of individual changes have arisen as the virus mutates, and when it's replicating and evolving into new variants, only a tiny minority are likely to be important or change the virus. All right. So now among the variants, we know the most resistant is the South African variant. And the Brazilian variant also, that one is not like the one of the UK. So each one is different. And it really don't take much for it to mutate. It is very unlikely that the current vaccine won't be effective on variants. So, they're going to just keep trying to prop up their vaccine. But we know that there is no possible way the vaccine they got out is sufficient enough. If it was sufficient enough, then why the hell are you talking about upgrading? So you got to look at the words they're not speaking, ladies and gentlemen. And they know this thing is not strong enough, what they have out now. They know this already. And thank you to everybody that gave super chats and super stickers. When I'm on full screen, I can't quite see what's going on, but I deeply thank you. I really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, really what this is a huge fight between Esau's medicine and the Most High's virus. And we know which one is going to win already. There is no humanly way possible they're going to be able to keep up with these mutations if they are going this swiftly. There's no way. Which means you can have thousands more by the time summer comes, y'all. These folks think everything's going to turn around by summer. You may have thousands upon thousands more mutations between now and summer. They can't stop this thing. They can't stop it, y'all. They're not going to walk out of nothing from those labs that's going to stop all these variants. It is just not going to happen, especially at the rate that it keeps mutating. Yeah, there's no way. You can't keep up with nothing like this. Thank you, David, for the super sticker. There's no way you're going to be able to keep up with it. So, I mean, they can keep talking this, oh, well, most of the variants can be covered under this shot. Don't believe the hype, y'all. If they really had it like that, look, we just looked at a man that got both shots and still got coronavirus. If they really had it like that, would something like that even occur? Hell no, it wouldn't. And you already saw the video I put out yesterday of the Black woman in Virginia that died just within hours after getting the shot. All they're going to do is keep telling us it's not the shot. You still need to go out there and get the vaccine. And you notice every day it's a rare occurrence. What happened is a rare occurrence. Well, obviously it's not rare if we keep seeing it over and over. How is that rare? Thank you, Sherry Maxey, for the super sticker. How is it rare if we keep seeing it over and over? That's another thing they keep doing. They keep telling you when these deaths occur or somebody gets sick, they keep telling us it's rare, but we keep seeing it over and over. So, you know, just take what they say with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, they really don't know what's going on. I don't believe they know COVID that well at all. Anytime these mutations are going on right under your nose and you still running around with the shot based on the first coronavirus we got in the country, then no, you're not doing too well. You're not doing too well. Yeah, I agree with you, Hebrew Kingdom. They will never defeat this virus. Not with the kind of stuff they're coming out with. No. And to me, when they say I'm going to upgrade the vaccine, what, kill more people? Okay, we see what the vaccine is doing now. Can you imagine what their upgrade is going to do to people? Seriously, can you imagine what the upgrade is going to do to people? It is, I don't want their upgrade, downgrade. I don't care. I don't want none of it. All right, there is one more article I want to show y'all. I don't know if you're even aware of this, but let's see. I came across this one. Let me share my screen with you on this. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. There is one more thing I want to show y'all. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know coronavirus cannot, this is the insider.com, and I did find several articles. Do you know if you, for example, got COVID on your hands, let's say you had COVID, you just came in contact with a surface or something and you touched it and you now have COVID. If you touch copper, let's say a copper pipe or a copper straw, because I got copper straws at my house, or a copper cup, or anything that got copper on it, do you know COVID cannot exist on copper? The copper actually kills the COVID within 4 hours. So take note of this. Take note of this. Shoot, when you get home from being out, touch some pennies in your wallet. Grab them pennies and start rubbing them all over your hands. So I just wanted to show you this. Let me, here, I'll put this link in the comment so that you can see this. So get them pennies out and start rubbing those hands all over your pennies. Yes, it can't survive on copper. COVID cannot survive on copper. So even if you don't have no copper at your house, if you got pennies in your wallet, get them pennies out and start rubbing them on your hands. Once it comes in contact, let's say it's in your hands, it kills it instantly. Yes, really. All right, so there's the link for everybody in the comment if you want to, check that out. You know what? Even if you don't, Latasha Bell, I'm glad you brought that up. Even if you don't have colloidal copper, which I have, but even if you don't have it, get yourself a copper cup. You can buy them all over Amazon. Fill it with water. Sit it inside of your refrigerator overnight, because I do this sometimes. And then by the next morning, get up and drink it. The copper from the cup will infuse inside of the water. So even if you don't have colloidal copper, you will still get some copper doing it that way as well. All right. So if you can get colloidal copper, no, that's great. But if you don't, at least get a copper cup. Fill it with water, Let it just sit in your refrigerator. You can let it sit for a few hours. I usually will just do it overnight. I'll just let it sit there. And then the next day, just get up and drink it. You got your copper right there because it will infuse from the cup. Oops, sorry about that. Thank you, Engaging Black. Yeah. So, use your copper mugs. And if you don't have copper and you can get the colloidal silver, not silver, I'm sorry, colloidal copper, then that's good too. Because copper is antibacterial, antiviral. And we all got pennies, right? We all got pennies. Take advantage and start using them pennies in your hands a lot more often. All right, y'all. Yes, it dies on copper. And that's a great thing to know, especially if you're out and about and then you got to come back home, you can use those pennies immediately on your hands. Copper cooking pans. Exactly. That's another great way of infusing the copper into your food. So that's definitely good to have. I have one big giant copper skillet. So everybody, we know what we got to do. Just stay safe, be careful. If you think you came in contact with somebody, try to keep those your immune system up. And we're just going to have to sail through this thing. As you can see, these scientists and doctors here in America cannot save us. We got to save ourselves. And we got to do the best that we can on this journey. And, trying to, keep ourselves strong enough to sail through this thing. And that's what we have to do, y'all. You do what you can. So everybody, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this live stream. I thank all of you for coming. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing one on Kyle Rittenhouse. He has apparently up and disappeared. His family moved. Okay. So, after being bailed out, and they gave him a chance, and look what he did. He bounced on them. So we'll talk about that tomorrow in the live stream. And Saturday, we also do our Bible study. So those of you that can come, you're more than welcome. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Shalom, family.